Loving Sairams and a wonderful evening to everyone. Offering my humble and prayerful salutations to our most beloved Bhagavan. Let us begin our session with Sri Omkar. And then I'll take up the introduction of Brother Sanjeev and hand it over to him. Om. Sairam. A loving Sairams and wonderful evening to everyone once again. It's my privilege to introduce today's guest speaker, Brother Sanjeev Abbi. Brother Sanjeev Abbi hails from Delhi, where he did his schooling along with Bal Vikas and Pre-Sevadal under his gurus, late Mrs. Rekha Pratap, late Mrs. Nimi Kamar, and Mrs. Uma Nanda. So pranams to all the gurus, because of whom we are what we are today. His family came to Bhagwan's lotus feet way back in 1975. Thereafter, Sanjeev was blessed by Bhagwan to become his student, where he undertook Bachelor's in Commerce, followed by Master's in Business Administration with specialization in marketing from Bhagwan's University, that is Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashadi Nilayam. And this was during the period of 1985 to 1990, 5 years. During his student days, Swami had given him a nickname, Camel Legs, and was handpicked by Swami himself as part of his entourage to Whitefield and Chennai. Interested to know how that Camel Legs came, I'll request maybe Brother Sanjeev to share how that entire anecdote came up, how that nickname came up during his talk. But besides this, he was blessed to speak in the Divine Presence on several occasions, notably as one of the student speakers to speak during the auspicious Dashera festival. He was also part of several dramas, which were enacted in Prashant Nilayam, and also directed a play himself based on Bhagwan's Chinna Katha, that is the 7 pots in the Divine Presence. His immediate family members, that is parents and his in-laws, have been engaged in doing seva in Swami's organization in various capacities. Brother Sanjeev is married to an Anandpur alumnus who did her Bachelor's in Science and B.Ed, Bachelor's in Education, and she has been a gold medalist from Bhagwan's University. On the professional front, Sanjeev has over 32 years of work experience in sales, spanning all the 4 sectors of the economy, that is FMCG, that is fast-moving consumer goods, services, manufacturing, and media. At present, he is working as Vice President Subscription Sales with Z Entertainment Enterprises Limited. Over to Brother Sanjeev to share his experiences and take us through that wonderful, blissful, divine journey on this auspicious evening. Over to you, Brother. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My most humble salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Sai Ram to everyone. I am often reminded of a statement, a very profound statement in Hindi, which goes like, मानो तो सब कुछ है, मानो तो सब कुछ है, और ना मानो तो कुछ भी नहीं. Swami has always been with me. He was there to receive me when I was born in this world. He was there to protect me when I was growing up. He's there now with me. And he will be there when I breathe my last on this earth. In fact, Swami is with each one of us. It is just that man's his limitation makes him not realize and recognize this fact that Sai has been, will be, and is always with us. I would like to go down the memory lane during my childhood days, where a lot of instances happened with me, and some of them were very bad, pretty bad. I would have lost my life also, but I survived. At that time, the doctor, people, my parents, relatives termed it as, oh, how fortunate is he, how lucky he is to have survived that. But later on, I realized it was Swami who had saved me. It so happened, now these instances relate to my growing years from 5 years to 8 years, those 3 years. I had gone to my aunt's house. She's a Sikh. She was a Sikh, and they had the part in their house. So we were all sitting there in the part, and I, after some time, felt thirsty. So I went up to her and said, Auntie, I want some water. I'm feeling thirsty. She said, Beta, 10 minutes ruko, I'll get it for you. So I went and sat in my place. After 15 minutes, when water didn't turn up, I went to my mother and asked her, Mummy, I want water. She said, Beta, wait for 10 minutes, I'll get it for you. So I waited now for 30 minutes and water was nowhere inside, and I was really feeling thirsty. Imagine a 5-year-old boy wanting water and there's no water to be given to him. So I decided, why trouble people? I'll go on my own and get water for myself. Now, they had shifted all the drawing room and dining room furniture outside in the veranda next to the kitchen. So as I was moving towards the kitchen, I happened to see a bottle of water kept on the dining table. So I got a glass. I had 2, 3 glasses from that bottle. The water tasted slightly funny, but I didn't care. I was feeling thirsty. After having these 3 glasses of water, it actually helped me to quench my thirst. I went and sat back in the park. My aunt and my mom both came with a glass of water in their hands and said, Beta, ye aapke liye pani hai. So I told them, I'm sorry, I don't want water anymore. I had my water and I'm not feeling thirsty. So my aunt asked me, how and who gave you water? So I said, I went on my own and I got the water. Then she said, where did you get the water from? So I came out from the puja room and I showed her the water bottle which was kept on the dining table. I said, Auntie, I had 2 to 3 glasses of water from this bottle. She kept the glass on the table and she shouted, called out her husband's name, and she told my wife, call your husband. I didn't know what was happening, but some ruckus was being created. And she told her husband, please take him to the doctor immediately. Your son, Uma's son, did not have water. He had 3 glasses of kerosene oil. And immediately I was rushed to our family doctor, whose clinic was quite nearby. And when he heard the story, he first scolded my parents and the elders, is that a place where you keep the kerosene oil? And how many glasses did he have? So they said he had about 3 glasses of water. So he started asking me some questions. Beta, are you feeling faintish? I said, no. Do you feel like throwing up? I said, no. Are you finding any difficulty in breathing? Or are you feeling any pain? I said, nothing. I'm finding nothing at all. So he kept me under observation for 1 hour. And after that, nothing happened. He told my parents, do one thing, give him warm water with salt in it, let him drink it. He will automatically throw out everything. So that way we can save him. It does happen. So they took me home. I had 4 to 5 glasses of warm water with salt, but nothing happened. I digested that also. After an hour, everything was fine with me. We left for our place. The second incident happened after a few months. I was very fond of climbing trees. So we had this tree just opposite my friend's house. And the height of the tree was about 15 to 16 feet from the ground. And the lowest branch was about 12 feet from the ground. So I climbed that tree, I climbed that particular branch, and I lay on that branch on my stomach. And I was dangling my legs and my hands, and suddenly the branch cracked and I fell 12 feet on the ground. on a flat stone on my stomach. And I stopped there. I was stunned. I didn't know what happened to me. Immediately, the neighbors came out. Uma, tere bachche ko kya ho gaya hai? Rush, he's got hurt. And my mother came out, my father came out. They took me to the same family doctor whose clinic was nearby, and he kept me in the clinic for 1.5 hours under observation. He wanted me to pass my stools to see if blood was not coming out. After 1.5 hours, nothing happened. He told my father, don't send him to school. Again, watch him for 2 days. My father was very careful with us. So he watched me for 3 days. Nothing happened and I survived. Not a single cut did I get on my face or on my hands. The third incident happened when I was 7 years old, and I had taken a fondness towards, running on the road without looking on the left or the right. So whenever I used to go to play, I just used to run across and go to my friend's house, and we used to play cricket or football. So that day, as I was running, I heard people shouting, "Mar jayega!" And an ambassador car came, and the person braked, and it stopped just short of me. The car was on my left-hand side, so which means if I would have turned towards the left and faced the car, my hand would have touched the bonnet. That was the distance which was between me and that car. The driver got out and he took me to my parents. I got a good scolding. And after that, there were instances where I did get burned in areas just below my eye, or a cracker exploded, just missing my eye. So all these instances which happened, that time I was made to believe that, beta, you are lucky, you're fortunate enough that you survived. But I didn't know that time that there was someone called Sai Baba and Swami for us later on, that it was he who had saved me. In 1975, our family came to Swami, and my parents started going for bhajans. So there was this devotee couple who was staying near our house, and they had introduced my parents to the Thursday bhajans. During that time, my mother had to be operated, and when they were taking her to the operation theater, the attendants, they kept the stretcher out and they moved inside the theater to make the necessary arrangements as the doctor was just arriving. So my mother was lying on the stretcher outside the operation theater, and she closed her eyes. She felt the presence of someone. So she opened her eyes and looked around. There was no one inside. She again closed her eyes. And this time she heard someone coming close to her ears and whispering, "Anand Mai Ma." My mom opened her eyes. She couldn't see anyone. In the meanwhile, the attendants came out. They took her inside the operation theater. The operation was successful by Swami's grace. She was discharged after a few days and was advised bed rest. The same devotee couple came to our house, and she gave a book to my mother. She said, "Anyway, Uma, you're lying in the bed and there's nothing to do. So why don't you go through this book?" And this was the first book my mother got on Swami, and it was Satyam Shivam Sundaram Part 1. So one day she was feeling quite bored. She decided to read the book. So as she opened the book, she came to the front page, the introduction page, and guess what was written on that page? In bold letters, it was written Anand Mai Ma. And below the meaning was mentioned. It said, clearing the doubts and fears of a person. It means that. My mother immediately related that to the incident just outside the operation theater. And she sensed that maybe Swami wants her to get actively involved in the organization work. So she was very happy and she started reading the book. Midway through the book, she again got a thought, why don't I go back to the introduction page and read that page once again and the meaning once again. So when she went back to the introduction page, Anand Mai Ma word was nowhere to be seen, and the meaning was also nowhere to be seen. And the rest is all history. And we all joined Bal Vikas and we started attending regularly. Now, this devotee auntie, I talk about her because she played a very important role in my life. She had two sons and they were like brothers to me. So, first we used to go to Bal Vikas because we used to like not the slokas, or they used to tell us a lot of make us chant a lot of slokas. We used to love the stories they used to tell us in Bal Vikas, and we used to do a lot of role plays and dramatics. So that attracted us. So the class, when they used to teach us slokas and the play and the public speaking practice was not there, both of us used to sit at the in the bus stand and we used to wait. The bus used to come and stop in front of us. We used to look at each other's faces. कि आज तो play practice नहीं है, आज sloka होगा. So what do we do? So we used to say, let's sit for some time. When the bus started gaining speed, then we used to get up and say, "Arey, we've missed our bus. Let's go back." So that is how we, started missing Bal Vikas once a month because we didn't want to go for the slokas. But Swami was there. We didn't know that he was watching us. So that year, this was 1977 when I joined Bal Vikas. It was said that Swami would be coming to Delhi and all the children Bal Vikas children are supposed to put up a cultural program. So moment we came to know, that means every class there's going to be practice, drama practice and a cultural program practice. So we were 100% in our attendance, attending that class. And then later on, Swami ensured that our attendance was mandatory because the devotee auntie, she started Bal Vikas class in her house only. So we had to be there, whether it was sloka chanting, stories or dramas. Swami ensured that we were there for the class. So 1977, I saw Swami. I saw Swami physically for the first time at Talkatora Gardens. In the morning, we all did march past in front of Swami, and I saw Swami sitting on the chair, and I was quite happy. Yes, I've seen Swami. In the evening, we had a cultural program in the Talkatora Indoor Stadium, and our program was, we were enacting dance on this poem, All Things Bright and Beautiful. And after that, we had the play in which Mother Sita, Lord Ram, they come back, they return to Ayodhya, and Hanumanji is there on the stage, and they give a necklace to him, and he's trying to hear the sound of Ram Ram in those beats of the necklace, and that was the scene which they were to enact. Now, since we were tall for our age, we were made to stand in the back row, and as we started off with the program, everything was dark. We couldn't see anyone, but I saw Swami's face. I couldn't see the chair on which he was sitting. I didn't see the robe of Swami. I just saw his hair and I saw Swami's face. And I got scared that time because the face was becoming red. It was becoming red and it was becoming red. And I knew, इतना तो पता था मुझे कि Swami को गुस्सा आ रहा है. And I was never exposed to Swami. We used to hear that Swami is, his love is like that of 1,000 mothers. We heard it from our gurus. And when I saw this, I was quite taken aback. Ye kya ho gaya? Why is Swami getting annoyed? Our program got over, we came down and the play started. When the play got over, there were thunder of applause given by the audience and we could hear it down in the basement. So we were all saying, "Acha hua, Swami must have liked this drama and people have also liked it. That is why they are appreciating it." So when the drama team came down, I went to one of the bhaiyas whom I knew and I said, "Bhaiya, Swami would have loved your play because we heard the cheering and we heard the applause." He put a sad face and he shook his head like this, but he didn't say anything. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Swami was not there to see my play." He said, "Moment we started, Swami got up and went away." Now, I will not say what I learned from this, but I would request all of you to please keep this experience at the back of the mind because it's going to be correlated to another experience. And then it will be clear to everyone in totality. So I move on to the next part. That in 1979, I went to Puttaparthi for the first time. My parents explained it to me. It's a lovely ashram. You'll enjoy yourself. And I also started having a lot of thoughts. Man, they are praising it. Must be good. So when I reached the ashram, that time there were sands, very few flats, and uh, just opposite the Purnachandra auditorium, we had three, four stores, out of which one was my favorite store. They used to sell Joy ice cream in that store. So morning we used to get up, have breakfast, go for darshan. We were very fortunate. Swami used to give us the first 2 rows morning, evening. But one thing which really troubled me that time was that, see, there are no cinema halls here. There are no good restaurants here. My friends are also not here. I am getting bored. So every day I was pestering my father, ki, when do we leave? He said, listen, Sanjeev, we are going to be here for 3 days. No more questions. And we leave after 3 days. So I always, when we used to go for darshan, I used to think, I can never stay in this place for the rest of my life. Not knowing that after 11 years, I would be saying, Swami, I don't want to leave this place. I want to stay here for the rest of my life. This is Swami, omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. The thought which came in 79 was reversed in the year 1990. In 1981, we were told that some states were selected to present plays in Puttaparthi. And Delhi selected 5 plays based on Satya, Dharam, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. So I got the role of Vishwamitra, and people used to tell me, you are acting well. For me, it was not acting, it was normal because I was very short tempered. I used to lose my temper like anything. It used to go up like mercury and then come down. It used to go up and come down fast, and then everything used to be cool, relaxed, and I used to forget about it. And that is what Vishwamitra's role was in Raja Harishchandra's play. So both the younger brothers of mine, my Guru auntie, her children were also there, and we were practicing. The D-Day came, and we were all to leave for Puttaparthi, and we were looking forward. And I was looking forward to, at least I will see Swami for the first time very close. So when we reached there, we came to know that Delhi state program was fixed for the last state. There were 4 more states who were putting up programs. Someone had put dance drama, someone had put a cultural program in the form of dance. And the best thing about Bal Vikas I liked, and about this organization I liked at that age, was that there were 3 plays where only boys were involved. They were also dressed up like girls. And there were 2 plays where only girls were involved. So there was no mixing up. Everything was separate and very clear cut. So we reached Parthi, and we found out that before the D-Day, the previous evening, Swami used to come at 9 p.m. to Purnachandra Auditorium, and all the actors were allowed to practice in Purnachandra Auditorium from 8 to 11 p.m. to get a feel of the stage. So Swami went for all the 4 states. He went at 9 o'clock, he used to come by 10, 10:15 in the evening, and we used to watch him coming and going. So when our program was fixed, we were very happy कि आज तो Swami भी आएंगे and he will see our program. And Swami used to come, he used to see the entire program, he used to make suggestions, he used to advise, he used to scold also, everything he used to do. And people would be in bliss because so much of love he would shower on all the children and the gurus. So we all had a dinner. 8 o'clock, all of us reached Purnachandra Auditorium on time. And our guru said, see, we don't know what time Swami will come, so let us start practicing now itself. So that was okay with us. So we started practicing. 8 ka 9 baja, 9 ka 10 baja. It became 11 p.m. There was no sign of Swami. There was not a single word which was conveyed from Swami's room to any of our gurus or to the Purnachandra Auditorium, whether Swami is coming or he's not coming. Our gurus were feeling bad, and some of them started crying. I saw tears rolling down their eyes. Some students were crying. I was not crying. But I was feeling sad. See, I was not emotional, but I felt sad. What is this? Why didn't Swami come? It is our chance. I took it like a hak ki mera hak hai. Swami has to come. He has to come and see a play. He has done it for everyone. Why is he not doing for Delhi? I thought like that. But then slowly, when I realized that Swami is not coming. So our gurus told us that, okay, should we go back since Swami is not going to come? And we all said, no, let us practice till 12 p.m. Maybe Swami is busy with his work. Maybe there are a lot of meetings happening. Maybe Swami ate his food late. We were all talking like that. So give him a chance. We'll wait till 12 p.m. 12:30 we waited. He didn't come. We all went back to our rooms and all of us were sad. Gurus were crying. Our elder brothers and sisters in the group were crying. And we were also sad. Ki Swami kyun nahi aaye? The next day, we were practicing, so we didn't get time to go for darshans, bhajans in the morning and in the evening. At 5 p.m., we were all gathered in the green room of Purnachandra Auditorium. At 5:10, Swami comes into the green room. He comes into the green room with 2 or 3 VIP devotees with him. And the sisters are in one corner getting ready. We are in one corner getting ready. The gurus are moving from here to there, helping us to get ready. And Swami comes and immediately everyone stops doing what they are doing. They all fold their hands and they are all crying. The gurus are crying. And Swami has got a very stern look on his face. He looks at the 5 of us because we were the big guys of the group. ये बच्चा है बाल विकास का. ये बच्चा है बाल विकास का. ये बच्चा नहीं है बाल विकास का. ये सेवा दल का, प्री सेवा दल का बच्चा है. They are not Bal Vikas children. Then he looked at my guru aunt's younger son who was there and Swami pointed his finger at him, said, ये जो बच्चा है, ये जो size है, इसका height है, ये बाल विकास बच्चा है. Then Swami said, yesterday all of you were crying. Everyone was feeling sad that why didn't Swami come for the practice? Now Swami will tell you, अगर मैं आता मैं पूरा प्ले कैंसिल करता बिकॉज ये लोग बाल विकास का बच्चा नहीं है. प्लीज व्हेन आई एम narrating this experience, please try to get back that Talkotora Indo Stadium experience also. Swami said, मैं 100% प्रोग्राम दिल्ली का कैंसिल कर देता. No program from Delhi state. And then Swami kept quiet for a minute and then he smiled and he told my gurus and everyone, but Swami को पता है कि आप लोगों ने इतना मेहनत किया, so much time, energy, efforts you have put, and this is your devotion to Swami. So how can a mother cancel that program? So my blessings with all of you. Go and give your. We were standing on the side next to the entrance of the Purnachandra Auditorium. So as he went past, he looked at me, he went forward and then he came back. And then he looked at me and said, ये कौन है? Now when he asked me, ये कौन है? So I got confused. Is he asking me my name? So should I say I am Sanjeev Abbi? Or is he asking me my role? What role am I playing? So I was thinking what to answer when one of my gurus said, Swami Vishwamitra. And Swami laughed. Kya baat hai Delhi wala? Modern Vishwamitra. Where do you find a young Vishwamitra like that? In Harishchandra time, he was old, not young. Now, I was wearing a dhoti. Under the dhoti, I was wearing a knicker, a short. So now the climax opened up. Immediately, people started, my guru started throwing powder on my hair to make it white. And one guru removed the cloth, a multicolor cloth, which I had draped around my body. And this was okay. Swami was standing there and looking at me and everything is happening. Then someone removed my dhoti. That is the time I felt like screaming, but my sound from the voice was not coming out at all. I couldn't say anything. Only inside I was saying, Sairam uncle, क्या कर रहे हो? आपके सामने तो ठीक है. आप मेरा धोती स्वामी के सामने निकाल रहे हो. भगवान के सामने, बाबा के सामने मेरा धोती निकाल रहे हो. How embarrassing it is for me. And I looked up thinking, Swami is looking at me. And moment this thought went through my mind. Swami turned and moved out of the room. And I just thought, ये thought मैंने सोचा है, and Swami moved immediately. Still, I couldn't relate that Swami is within me, he's in me, he's around me, he's always with me. I missed on that point. So anyway, we went for the play. The drama was well received by everyone. And at night, Swami sent word. He sent word to one of the persons, and they said that Swami is very happy with Delhi students. So Delhi people have to be there at darshan time near the Prashanti Mandir. So we were made, the boys were made to sit on the sands. That time sands were there, Kulwant Hall, nothing was there. So we were made to sit on the sands near the garage. And Swami came out. He called my guru aunt's youngest son, younger one, and he created vibhuti and gave it to him and said, "Abhi jaake sabko vibhuti do." So he started moving and giving vibhuti to everyone. We were all sitting in the rows, and this time our gurus were very careful. All the 5-6 of us who were tall boys were made to sit at the end. कि फ्रंट में नहीं बैठना क्योंकि स्वामी ने डांटा है, तुम लोग पीछे बैठोगे लास्ट में. So we all sat in the last line thinking कि स्वामी यहाँ तक तो आएंगे नहीं. Swami came, gave Pad Namaskar to all of us. He stopped in front of us and he said, "Good performance. You are all good boys," he told the 6 of us. And he then said, "I will take all of you in my college." So I don't know about the 3 boys who were there in the group, but I knew about the 3, including myself. One of them joined in class 11 in the school, high school. I joined in BCom, and my guru aunt, elder son, he joined in BCom. So that's the time when Swami said, "I'll take you," and we were all happy. And there was a sort of a happiness I got, a very pleasant feeling which I had never experienced earlier. I was so happy, I immediately went outside the mandir and purchased a ring, a red ring with Swami's face in the middle. And I said, "I'll wear it with me every time because now I like Swami. He really loves us." So I came home and started attending school. So I used to put vibhuti in the morning and I used to wear Swami's ring. But then the world had different plans for me. Moment I entered the school building, all my friends started saying, "हाँ, आज बाबा ने क्या खिलाया तुझे breakfast के लिए? आज बाबा तेरे साथ आया." And they started mocking Sai Baba. Now this was something which I didn't like. I didn't know what to do. So I decided that next time when I enter the portals of my school, I would take the ring like this and I would turn it this way. So Swami's photograph would be inside the palm. Only the band would be visible, and I used to remove the vibhuti. Since both the things were not there, so they stopped teasing me. And one day my mother found out and she told me, she says, "Why are you bothered as to what people call you or what they think about you? You believe in Swami. You believe in Sai Baba. You feel he's God. He's a saint. Don't you?" I said, "Yes, I like him because he's different from sadhus and saints whom I've seen. So I like him." Then she said, "You should wear the ring, wear it outright. Let Swami's face be seen by everyone. And you better put vibhuti and go." So I started doing that with the confidence that Swami, aaj kuch bhi hoega, I will not do it. After 7 days, they stopped teasing me. Everything stopped. And I was back in their group. So the confidence was given to me by my mother that, see, once you come to Swami's fold and you start worshipping him, then he's everything for you. It doesn't matter what people think, but you don't reply or don't hurt them. You just keep quiet, smile at them that they don't know what they are missing and walk away. So things went off. I joined Pre-Sevadal, and in 1983 we had this competition. Okay, now sorry, I'll go back to that experience about the play, and I told you to correlate with the experience I had related earlier. There were 3 things which I had learned from that experience. A was discipline. Discipline is you've got to follow a certain pattern laid down by a Swami, laid down by the organization. You cannot mend or bend to suit your whims and fancies. So discipline was the first one. You come on time, you are very well before time, sit and sing bhajans. If you come late, please sit at the back. That is a discipline which we were all told to inculcate by Swami while he was scolding us in Punachandra Auditorium. The first thing was discipline. The second thing, he knew everything what was going on, what were we discussing in the past, what we are discussing now, and what would happen in the future. He told everything what everyone was thinking. He showed his omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. And the third thing, he showed his love for his devotees, his love for the children, and his love for all those who have faith in him and who worship him. There are three takes from that experience. In 1983, when I was in pre-Sevadal, we had a competition at state level. There were dance competition, elocution, public speaking, quiz, bhajans, and I went for the public speaking competition. And my guru aunt, whose sons were like brothers to me, she trained me, and I topped Delhi State. So I was very happy. And after a week, I came to know from my guru, and my mother also came to know that year there were 5 states where these competitions were held, and all the 5 states where the candidate, the person had topped in public speaking, all the 5 people would be allowed to speak in front of Swami in Purnachandra Auditorium. So I was thrilled. I said, not bad. I'm getting a chance to again go to Puttaparthi. But as things would have it, my board result came and I didn't do very well. So my father was worried. Now see what happens that time in our society, in India specifically, it was like this key. A boy has to be good in studies, he has to be focused, he has to be career driven, because he has to run a family, look after the family and manage it. So my father was very disturbed. He says, Sanjeev, all your extracurricular activities are over. You are not doing anything, just focus on your studies. So I said, okay. But my gurus for those 10 days were telling my father, calling him up and even visiting him. Please, Abhi Saab, you don't know what your son is going to miss. Such an opportunity comes once a lifetime. And he's getting a chance to speak in front of Swami. There are so many people who are dying to visit Parthi, and he's getting a chance to visit. But my father said, and he looked at them and said, don't blame me. He didn't do well. He has to study hard. Next time when he does well, he can take part. So the previous evening, the next day, everyone had to leave for Parthi. The previous evening, 4, 5 of my gurus came, sat with my father for an hour. They coaxed him, tried to convince him, please allow your son to go. And then my father suddenly said, he said, I am really touched by your love for my son. They said he's a very sweet child, he's a very sweet person, and he never says no to anything. My father said, yes, I know that. So please allow him to come. And my father said, okay, I don't want him to miss an opportunity. I say, yes, take him. But there's only one problem. How will we manage his ticket? Then one of my gurus, she opened her purse and she took out a ticket. And she showed on the ticket, it was written Sanjeev Abbi. She said, I had already booked this ticket. And they all asked her, why did you book the ticket? She said, because I had this feeling which came from inside that he will go. Don't worry, book his ticket. And this is the first time when I heard a word called something from inside. I till that time didn't know that there was something called conscious in us. There was something which you speak out to us and would always guide us not to do bad, but to always do what that voice felt was good. So I got a chance and I came to Puttaparthi. I was very happy. We were told when we reached Parthi that the program will not be held in Purnachandra Auditorium. It will be held in the Institute Auditorium. So we said fine. And I was sitting with my gurus going through the content when a very smart, handsome young man, I'll call him Bhaiya, he was in 30s. He entered the room, everyone wished him. And I was told he was one of the best orators during those times. He had spoken 15 times before Swami. And he had also translated Swami discourses in English. He came to me and he said, "What is your name?" I said, "Sanjeev." He says, "Ah, same name." And the second question he asked me was, "Do you want to join Swami's college, young man?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Good." And he went away. After that, I never met him in my life. So I was happy. Next morning, we were to go for bhajans, darshans, and from there, we had to go to the institute auditorium. First time, I got a feeling and a voice from inside. "Sanjeev, don't go for bhajans and darshans in the morning. Go to the institute auditorium directly." So I didn't pay any heed to it. I was having a breakfast. Again, the sound came, the voice came. "Sanjeev, don't go for bhajans and darshans. Go to the institute directly." I didn't bother. I didn't take notice of that. Washed my hands. I was moving towards the mandir when the voice came again. And this time I said, "Ki kuch to hai." So I changed my direction and I went towards the institute. When I reached the institute auditorium, the Sevadal were there and they stopped me. And I said, कि भाई मुझे बोला गया है आज प्रोग्राम में पार्ट लेने के लिए, तो मैं पार्टिसिपेंट हूँ. So please allow me to sit inside. And excuse me. They told me, "Fine, you can go and sit in." So I sat in the institute auditorium in the third row and I closed my eyes and I was just trying to go through my speech. It happens sometimes that you're doing something and you get a vague feeling that someone is watching you or has been watching you. So that vague feeling came into me and I looked ahead. I saw all the Sevadals standing like this with folded hands and looking towards my direction. I looked towards the right and the Sevadals were again folding their hands and they were looking towards my left. So when I turned towards the left, I saw Swami standing there. Now Swami was there just 5-6 seats away from me and I got confused. I had never seen, alone. I was always in a group when Swami interacted with us. Now I was all alone. I didn't know how to behave or I didn't know what to do, how my behavior had to be. I felt, should I just stand up and fold my hands and look at Swami? Or should I kneel down wherever I'm standing and fold my hands and look at Swami? Or should I go running towards Swami and fold my hands? Or should I kneel down near Swami and fold my hands? I was getting scared. I closed my eyes and said, "Sairam, Sairam, Sairam, please save me." And I went on chanting that. After 2-3 minutes, I opened my eyes. I looked on the left. Swami was not there. This happened for the third time. The thought came and Swami responded. And I actually felt that time. Sanjeev, whatever you're thinking, he knows it. So which means he's everywhere. He's watching you. So you better be careful. My speech was well received. I was very happy. We got Pad Namaskar from Bhagwan and I came back to Delhi. 1985. 12th class boards. Marks were not that good. So that evening when the results were out, my father and I were sitting comparing कि भाई कौन से कॉलेज को मैं अप्लाई करना चाहिए in Delhi University. My relative, my aunt, my mother's elder sister, she came in and she said, "What are you doing?" So my father said कि आप कॉलेजेस ढूंढ रहे हैं कि किस कॉलेज में इसको बीकॉम मिलेगा. She said, "You're so funny. Don't do that. Don't put him in Delhi University." She said, "Swami will give him place in his university. Please go. Don't forget he had said he will give him a seat. Why are you ignoring that?" And that is the time we realized that Swami had told us. The next day, me and my mother, we packed off to Parthi. It was a month of May, and that was the 60th birthday celebrations. So Swami in the month of May was in Puttaparthi. I still remember. 1985. And my mom knew someone who was a permanent resident, so she shared her flat with her. And I kept my bag and bedding just outside her flat on the veranda. So that was my study table, my bed, my puja room, everything for me for the next 15 days. Yes, in the morning, I used to go to the sheds for the morning ablutions, but that also Swami took care of me. And there was this family which moved in next to my aunt's flat, a husband, wife, and their son. The husband came and asked me what I was doing. And when I told him that I was preparing for entrance exam in Swami's college, I was trying for a seat. He said, "Son, we leave in the morning for darshans and we come back after bhajans. So that much of time is available for you to use our washroom and get ready." So I thanked Swami. I said, Swami, it is not that I have come. You have brought me here and you have taken care of each and every small thing of mine. You know what is happening with me, and you know everything what I'm going through. After 15 days, the list came out. I was selected. We were told 60 students were selected because it was Swami's 60th birthday and 60 children were taken in for the UG courses. So now the growing up life and the school life got over, and I entered the college life, entered the portals of Swami's University. So I remember first day I was very sad because the first time I was separated from my parents. So first night I was sad, but second day onwards, the hostel was so good. The warden and other senior students made me so ease and at home that I started liking the place. It was the first Sunday when the college started. We were in the hostel, and Swami was coming to the Hillview Stadium. So I normally used to go back to the hostel, change from my whites into jeans and t-shirt, and I came to the Hillview Stadium because Swami was coming. So we were all standing. Swami's car came and stopped in front of Sai Vedika, and Swami got out. So I was in the front row, and one of the brothers, as Swami's door opened and he's coming out, tells me, Sanjeev, you are in a soup today. So I said, why? What happened? Swami does not like students wearing jeans, and you're wearing jeans and t-shirt. I got scared. I said, "Isne to bol diya, and today's just the third or the fourth day in the hostel. I will get into a problem. So what to do?" I'm seeing Swami get out of the car. So slowly from the first row, I inch back towards the second row. As Swami comes out, I inch back towards the third row. As he closes the door, I inch back to the fourth row. And as I'm moving to the fifth row, Swami turns towards me and says, "Where have you come from?" This is one thing which I have failed to understand and I've stopped thinking. Whenever we are in a group and Swami looks at in a particular direction and says and asks something, automatically the person to whom he is asking opens his mouth and the sound flows out. So, moment he says, "Where did you come from?" I said, "Swami, I've come from Delhi." Swami said, "हाँ, दिल्ली से आया है, दिल्ली का लड़का है, पता है, सब पता है." And I was happy. Swami had talked to me, and for the first time, I found my voice and I responded to Swami's query. I was so happy that day. Anyone would tell me to do anything, I was doing it. Why? Because Swami talked to me. I was very happy. That thought, एक महीना मेरा आराम से निकल गया. Swami didn't look at me, he didn't call me, he didn't come near me, but I was happy. See, Swami had talked to me and I was able to respond to Swami. Second month started. Again, Swami used to, when he used to come for darshans, he used to see me from far. But as he used to come near, he used to avoid me. And he used to look at students on the left or the right behind me, but never at me. So I started feeling the pinch. I talked to some seniors and they said, "Don't worry, this is Swami's way of training you, of molding you, of guiding you. Don't worry. Think of better moments when Swami used to talk to you and recollect them." So I started, recollecting the first time Swami talked to me, interacted, and it went off for 1 month. In the month of September, the third month, again, the same thing continued. And I said, "Abhi to kuch karna padega. There is some problem. Maybe I'm bad. Maybe I'm not up to his expectations. There is some problem somewhere. I have to do something." So I tried to change myself. I tried to become more disciplined. I tried to do all the things which I felt would make Swami happy. But there was no change. Swami used to come, look at me from far. He used to come near me, avoid me. And there were times when he used to come in the middle of the portico, stand among the students, and they used to do path seva. And there were so many times he used to be just few feet away from me, and I used to, with folded hands, would say, "Swami, kitna acha lagta if you would come near me and give me a chance to do path seva." And immediately Swami would respond, not once or twice, thrice. "No, no, no." So I knew Swami wants me to stay away. This is not the time for him to talk to me. Maybe it will take some time. But I knew Swami wants me to stay away. So I used to stay away. And
I think brother Sanjeev is dropped out because of the network challenge. Request you to give us few
Yeah, yeah,
minutes till he
got
joins
it.
back.
Sorry, I had a network issue at my end. So I got the message that it will take some more time for Swami to talk to me. Then a thought came. That time I had, I was telling my seniors also that, see, I want to take part in the English drama. And they said, see, Sanjeev, sorry, we can't do much about it because Swami has already shortlisted the characters. Practice has started. What you can do is, if you want to enjoy his 85th birth, his 60th birthday celebration, stay back in the winters and help in a lot of work which will be required, and you will enjoy. So I stayed back, and that time all this was happening, and what did this voice came from inside? See, you have tried everything, you've given letters, Swami is not taking your letters, you have to send them a registered post. So what you do now is, you fold your hands when Swami comes, and as he's coming near, Swami will not look at you. So you immediately look at Swami's feet and pray, कि Swami मुझे पाद नमस्कार दे दो, पाद नमस्कार दे दो. Try it. So I just thought कि कुछ problem तो नहीं होगा, कुछ problem तो नहीं होगा, कोई repercussions तो नहीं होंगे. And the voice said, don't worry. I'm telling you, do it. So the first day, Swami came in the evening. He came from far. He saw me. As he neared, I lowered my eyes and I looked at his feet and was praying, Swami, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar. And Swami went away. I knew Swami is not looking at me. Uh, in our school days, I had joined NCC. So in NCC, there is a word called Chori Nazar. So we were trained to stand straight without moving our heads. We used to look from the corner of our eye, what is happening on the left hand side or the right hand side or the lower portion, but never move our face or our head. So that was called the Chori Nazar. So I thought about that Chori Nazar. So when Swami used to come, I used to look at his feet and pray, Swami, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar, not looking at Swami's face, knowing he would not look at me. This continued for 8-10 days. On the 11th day, it was a Sunday, Swami went to Gokulam in the morning after bhajans. So when I came to know about it, I stood opposite the institute gate and I waited for Swami to come. So when I saw Swami's car coming, immediately I folded my hands and I looked towards Swami. And as he neared, I lowered my eyes and I looked towards the wheels. And imagining the wheels to be Swami's feet, I said, Swami, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar. Then, with a chori nazar, I saw that car slowing down. Boss, I was so thrilled. He saw he's going to stop. Maybe he'll roll down the window. Saw me looking at me and his head, and he went on looking at me, and I was looking at Swami. And I was confused whether he was happy or whether he was annoyed or whether he was telling me, be careful. That evening, I went for. I have to go fast. We are moving out, losing out on time. Sorry. So that evening we went. I sat in the outside portico and I had a letter with me. And when Swami came near, I lowered my eyes and I prayed to Swami, Swami, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar, Pad Namaskar. And I saw that, I felt that the letter was taken by Swami. He took my letter and he said, you. And as he walked, there is a movement among the students that now Swami is going towards the inner portico, so they will all change side. So I also turned towards my left. Ki ab Swami portico mein ja rahe. Two boys got up and they went towards the interview room. I got a poke from my senior in the back and said, Swami has called you for an interview. So I looked at him and shook my head. I said, no, he didn't call me. Inside, I was saying, Bhaiya, you don't know what's happening with me for the last 2.5 months. You think Swami will call me? And today, after this morning's darshan in the car, I have no guts. I am going to sit here and not do anything. So I said, no, he didn't call me. Swami went inside the bhajan hall. He again poked. Swami has called you for the interview. I said, no, he has not called me. When Swami went from the bhajan hall into the interview room, he said, Sanjeev, I'm not joking. Swami has called you. And when he told me like that, I got a feeling that yes, Swami has called me. I got up, my legs were shivering, my body was shivering, and I started crying. I don't know the reason why I was crying. I was crying, crying. I went and sat in front of the interview room, and I was crying. Swami came out. He called all the foreign devotees. There was a group, and he called these two boys, and he called me. As I moved inside the inside the interview room, Swami was standing there at the door, and he closed the door, and he was walking towards his chair. I was right at the back. He looked at me and said, "What do you want?" And I looked at him and said, "Swami, please take my mind away. I don't want my mind. I get bad thoughts. I cannot fight with my mind. Please take it." And you know what happened? Swami raised his hand. Swami raised his hand as if he's going to hit me. And I closed my eyes and I was shivering. And I knew कि अभी पढ़ने वाला है, अभी थप्पड़ पढ़ने वाला है, अभी पढ़ने वाला है. Nothing happened for 2 minutes. I opened my eyes. Swami's hand was lowered. He was smiling at me. And he went and sat in his chair. I sat down. And the thoughts which were coming in my mind, Swami knew them. He said, mind and the brain have been bestowed upon God to mankind and no other living organism or animal. Don't be a slave to your mind. Be a master of your mind. Let bad thoughts come. Let them come. Don't fight those thoughts, but keep focused. Keep yourself focused on Swami's name. Keep yourself focused on whatever good you are doing and listen to your inner voice. All my answers, all my questions, my queries were answered. That how does Swami know every thought of mine? And how do I tame my mind? Swami gave me the answer. And the inner voice was nothing else but the conscious was Swami in me. The Swami is in all of us. And he's guiding us. Whenever we do something wrong, the voice says, hey, don't do. You're doing something wrong. You're trying to hurt someone. Don't do that. And when you're doing something good, you're trying to make someone happy. The voice says, go ahead. So you are making people happy. So that is Swami. He's in me. He's in you. He's in all of us. And when were coming out, I was the last one to come. Swami gave me namaskar, and again he stopped me at the door and said, now you tell me, what do you want? I folded my arms, my hands, and told him, Swami, I want a part in that English play which is happening during your birthday celebrations. I want a small part in that. Swami looked at me, smiled, and he patted my shoulder. He used to always pat me on the left shoulder. I don't know why, but he patted me and I loved it. So much of love flowed from Swami into my body. I could feel it. My body was shivering. And he said, he just smiled and didn't say anything. Now, all my queries were answered, and I was confident that Swami is with me. And whatever work I started doing during the holidays, I was doing it with full concentration, focus. I would have my breakfast and I would have tea. I would skip my lunch because I wanted to finish the work fast. And one day, the senior students who were acting in the play called me and said, call the other boy. Because every night we used to carry milk for them. The Telugu boys and the English drama boys who were practicing in the Institute auditorium. We used to carry milk for them. And we used to see the play. And obviously, it was slightly selfish because we came to know when Swami would be coming and watching the play. So we used to come and hide behind the chairs, both of us, and we used to peep and see Swami directing and even seeing Swami acting. Imagine each and every minutest detail Swami was observing, he was pinpointing, and he just showed us that everything you do should be done with perfection. Don't do it half-heartedly. Do it with full concentration, wholeheartedly, with all concentration. If you can't do it, then don't do it. And he came that time and told us, see, there is a small part for both of you in the play. So can you come for the practice? But you have your duty and responsibility to provide milk. So we said, we will do that also, Bhaiya. So for the first time, it was just 3 days before the grand finale. And we walked into the auditorium proud that we were part of that play. And we said, what do we have to do, brother? He said, in the morning, Swami had come. And the first scene was the institute scene. And Swami was saying, artificial, artificial, artificial. And we asked Swami, Swami, what is so artificial about it? He says, this is an institute. And there should be students walking up and down. So please bring 2, 3 students who will walk up and down the stage to give you a feel that it is a college. And we were selected to be the students to just walk up and up and down twice. And we told him, Bhaiya, even if he wanted us to be statues, we would have done that. So Swami listened to that prayer. He knew my innermost prayer, my thought, and he gave me that part and he blessed us. We got his blessings. We were able to put that play in front of him during the 60th birthday. He blessed us with Pad Namaskar. And that was a blessing which I'll never forget in my life. Then there are some more instances because of short of time. I have to prioritize and I apologize for taking extra time, but I would move ahead to the time when I was to uh, take a decision that my third year was getting over. I was in the sixth semester and I wanted, I was wondering what to do. Should I sit for MBA or should I go do MCOM or what should I do? I tried asking Swami, but the question was always avoided. So one day in my third year, I was fully doing seva in the kitchen. So the kitchen head came during the milk time and told me, Sanjeev, either bed. So I sat there and he said, what are you worried about? I said, this is my problem, sir. He told me, don't worry, you will be here for 2 more years. I said, thank you very much, sir. You've said this from the bottom of your heart. He says, I have this feeling for you. You're a good boy. You will stay here for 2 years, 2 more years. I was very happy. But then I got confused. Now, those 2 years, are they meant for MCOM or they're meant for MBA? Anyway, I gave my semester exams and then I sat for the MBA entrance. We came to know that during summer, Swami had gone to Brindavan. So few of us who were to go for PG courses, we came to Puttaparthi. We came to Whitefield. And there Swami was asking, inquiring from everyone, ha, kya kar raha hai? Acha, you go home, your parents require you. Someone he was guiding, go abroad for higher studies. How you do this, you do that. He was guiding and advising everyone except for me. He was just looking at me and avoiding me. So I thought, ki, Sanjeev, there is something again going to happen to you. So you don't do anything, just keep quiet. Then one day Swami called me after he was coming back from giving darshans to the devotees in Trai Vrindavan. And he called me and he said, what are you going to do now? I told Swami, I am very clear in my mind. And he said something in Telugu. I still don't know what it meant, but he used the word clarity. And he said like this, clarity. So I said, clarity is there, Swami. If I have come to know that the MCOM results will come after MBA results. So if MBA results come and I'm not there, I will take MCOM because MCOM session will start late. Swami looked at me and said, Kya bola? I repeated. He looked at me and he looked at all the other students who were standing slightly away. He called all of them. They all surrounded Swami. I was in front of Swami. Swami put his hand on my shoulder and said, in your life, whatever you do, never keep 2 feet on 2 different boats. They will move in 2 different directions and you will fall flat. You should have the conviction, you should have the faith, you should have the focus, what you want to do. And you should have that energy and you should have the sankalp that I will make it happen. He said, will you do it? I said, yes, Swami, I will do it. I promise you. He said, what will you do it? I said, Swami, I'll wait for my MBA results. I did not go. In the evening, we came to know that MCOM session was starting 2 days before the MBA result was going to come out. It changed for the first time in 1988, yes, in 1989. So 1989, after we completed the semester, sixth semester. So all the students who were going for MCOM, Swami called them, gave them Pad Namaskar, gave them Vibhuti. He was looking at me, he was looking at me and saying, telling the boys, Ajo, come, take prasadam, take my namaskar and go and join your session. It is starting tomorrow. I did not move. I was just thinking, Swami, I am not going to get caught now. I will not take any more scoldings. I will not give you an opportunity or a chance to scold me. I am following whatever you told me. I am convinced that you will give me a seat in MBA. After 2 days, Swami gave me a seat in the MBA list. My name was there. We had a lot of experiences, and I move on to the new stage, the current stage of my life, where I came out in the world and I started my work life. Now, this I have time for three experiences. I will share that with you. And these three experiences are: one, I was in Lucknow with a multinational company and we were selling refined oil. So there was this place, the PGI, which is a very big hospital in Lucknow, and it was 35 kilometers from the city. So I had a bike and I should travel all the way on the highway, which was heavily populated. It was traffic was very heavy on that, and I used to take about 45 minutes to reach that place at a speed of 80 or 90 kilometers, nothing beyond that. That day, I started off on my bike and I was going. Fortunately, there was not much of traffic. Suddenly, a group of children came in front of me, and I was going at a speed of 90 on the highway. The parents were on the other side, and he was the landlord and a big zamindar of the village. His son, with his group of friends, immediately came onto the road, something which I had done in my childhood, and they started running on the road. Moment they came, I felt and I knew immediately that if I brake, I will skid and I'll fall. So I turned the handle onto the right to make my bike go diagonally, just in time to see if anything was coming in front or behind me. Fortunately, nothing happened, but this boy came in front of my bike and my bike hit him. And the only thing I knew that time was I said, Sai Ram. I shouted, Sai Ram. And you know what happened? I was lifted in midair to about 18 feet above the ground. I saw the boy falling and blood coming out from behind his ears. I saw his parents in mid-air. I'm seeing all this, seeing his parents picking him up and the children and the people telling him, "Zamindar ji, इस आदमी की गलती नहीं है, आपके बच्चे की गलती है, इसको hospital ले जाओ." And then I see my bike moving without the rider and falling on one side. I'm right in the middle of the road at a height of 15 feet from the ground. And someone picks me, not someone, Swami only did. I was picked up from main road and I was brought down on a piece of grass. I just got a slight scratch here. And I lay down there. 2 minutes, I kept my eyes closed and I said, "Thank you, Swami." I just prayed to Swami. When I opened my eyes, I found the villagers trying to take my bike. They couldn't start my bike. Somehow I took Swami's name, got up. As I kicked, my bike started and I moved towards the PGI. Swami had saved me. But that was not enough. He was there because there were instances, experiences. I may get an opportunity anytime later on. I'll share with you where Swami used to tell me in private audience, pointing towards his hair and said, "So many came and so many went, but I will never leave you." And that was always a touching point. It used always make me feel sad. And I would tell him, "From me, please see that I do not get misguided." So when I was young and I was working after this incident, we tend to get misguided. But Swami was there to look after me, to take care of me. And he didn't stop there. He got married me to an Anandpur girl. And I have told her also, but today I am from the bottom of my heart, I'm saying that she has guided me back on track to move towards Swami. So what I am today and my son, my wife has a very big hand in that. And then she had told me that, see, uh, my father had told me an experience where a devotee is asking Swami, there was an air crash. And the devotee asked Swami, "Swami, there was this air crash, all the passengers died. Why didn't you save them?" Now, every experience I'll relate, I will not, may not get time to indicate the lesson learned, but the lesson is in the experience itself. Swami said, if one of the passengers or the crew member had chanted Gayatri Mantra, I would have gone and saved them. My wife told me and my son, now from today, whenever we leave the house, we will chant our slokas and the Gayatri Mantra. So whenever I sit or travel by train or bus or by plane or go by my car or any other vehicle, I always chant the slokas and the Gayatri Mantra. It happened in Bhopal. I was given 5 days time to travel a distance of 2,700 kilometers. And my wife told me that I had told my wife that I would be coming on Friday by Shatabdi. After 3-4 days of traveling 1,900 kilometers, the driver gave up. He said, "Sir, I cannot drive. I was in a place called Gotegaon with a technical engineer and this driver. He said, "Sir, chabi ye hai, aap chala lo, I cannot drive." It was 11 o'clock at night, and I told the engineer, "See, if you are awake, let us go with Google Baba, put on the Google Maps, and we'll move towards Bhopal from Gotegaon." I didn't know the way, so we're banking on that Google map. I started, I chanted the Gayatri Mantra, I started off, and slowly increased the speed. And there was a point at around 12 o'clock, we reached a forest where there were three roads. They were all small roads, and I didn't know where to go, and the Google Maps stopped working. So I just prayed to Swami, and within a minute or two, a person came from a close by hut, and he said, "Aap log yahan kya kar rahe ho?" And I told him, "Ki we have lost our way. Please help us." And he said, "आप ये सीधी road ले जाओ, travel straight for 100 kilometers, you will come onto the highway which goes towards Bhopal." So I started off. 1:30 in the morning, I started getting my sleep. My eyes started closing and I was fighting sleep. I said, "No, let me look for a dhaba where I can have tea and I'll wake up and I'll drive." I had to, it was fight against time because I had a train at 2 in the afternoon. I don't know what happened. I don't know when I slept. I don't know for how many minutes I was driving, sleeping. Someone shook both my shoulders twice, and I woke up just in the nick of time to see that one part of the car was on the Kacha road, one part was on the main road. There was a big structure in front of me. I couldn't make out what it was. There was an impulse in me which said, "Turn right." I turned right, came onto the road, and then I stopped after some time. And after that, I prayed that I would never do such a mistake. I told my family about it recently. I didn't relate that experience. But I know one thing. I chanted Gayatri Mantra. Swami was there to save me. And the last experience before I close my talk for today, there were two, but I don't have time for that. This is an important one because my wife today also gets thoughts. Swami comes in her dreams and guides her. In January 2011, Swami came in her dreams. She was sitting in the mandir. Swami came from Yajur Mandir. He moved towards the lady's side, and Swami picked up my wife and said, come with me." And he takes my wife to the portico where Swami's seat used to be kept, where he used to sit on the chair. And he told her, "Look down." So there was a gadda, and as she looks down in the dugout, she sees Swami is lying on the ground. She's lying down, and she says, "Swami, aap idhar bhi hain aur udhar bhi hain." This is, sorry, I got mixed up. I'm really sorry. This happened when Swami gave up his he gave us his mortal frame in April. That was 24th April. 24th night this happened. Swami then showed heaps of vibhuti falling on him. So when on 25th I came back and she told me, "That is the samadhi made here." I said, "Yes." She says, "Swami has shown me the place and how it happened." But prior to that, in Jan 2011, Swami came in the morning, came in her dreams, and he took her to a construction site. There he took her in a lift. He said, come with me in the lift." The lift was open from all the sides, and my wife was scared. So Swami got glasses placed around it, so it was covered. And then Swami said, as the lift started moving upward, he said, "All those who do my work, I will give a cabin like this to them." And the lift moved up, and it disappeared into the clouds. So when my wife got this dream on 24th April night, she said, "I could relate the dream there, but that time I could not relate what Swami was trying to say." I'm sorry, I had to rush through. There are experiences, but I could not share them with you because of the time limit. Maybe I was slightly slow. So with all my due respects and my apologies, I bring this talk to an end. Saira.
Sairam, Sanjeev, if you want, you can take another 5 minutes and narrate one more experience. It's okay.
Fine. Now, this experience I'll recollect because in 86 and 87, there were 2 years when Swami said, "My boys should speak during Durga Dashera celebration in Prashanti Nilayam." So I was lucky enough to be selected by Swami for 1986 Dashera celebrations. I spoke, and in 87 also I spoke. And in 87, I remember this experience, which is nothing else but a proof of Swami's omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. And mind you, let me remind you that man has now introduced another word to this trinity of omnis. And he says it is omnibenevolence. Now, what does omnibenevolence means? Man, as per his limited knowledge and limited vision, he says it caters to the God who is good. It doesn't cater to the God who is good. It caters to God who is always good, who always thinks good for us. So, and when I was narrating this experience in the Punachada auditorium, my seniors and batchmates were telling me, my God, Sanjeev, you should have seen Swami's face. You should have seen Swami's expressions. He was having a whale of time. He was laughing and he was smiling and he was looking at everyone. I said, I'm sorry, Bhaiya, but I could not see that fortunate experience because I was just looking at the audience and narrating it. And the experience goes like this. Anandpur's sister got married to a non-devotee family. Now, her husband was an alcoholic. So they didn't believe in Swami. So she made a small mandir in her room and she used to worship Swami every day. And she had a photograph of Swami, framed photograph of Swami. So every night the husband would come, he would drink liquor, and before drinking, he used to go to Swami's photograph and touch the glass and would say, cheers, cheers, cheers. So the girl felt very bad and she used to cry. She used to cry to Swami, Swami, what is this? All this is happening in front of me. It's happening in my house. You have given us so much. We are what we are today just because of you. And this person is misbehaving and he's disrespecting you. I will end my life. But something in her coaxed her, don't worry, I will take care. So this happened for quite some time. And once it happened that they had to come to Hyderabad and they had to come via Puttaparthi. So she told her husband that, see, we have to go to Hyderabad and we have to go to Puttaparthi. So why don't we go for darshans? You don't come. You stand outside the ashram. I will go and take darshans. So the husband's brain worked. Wow, very smart. You will go and take darshans and tell Swami about me what I was doing. I'm not a fool. He said, no, I will also come with you. But we will have darshans and we'll go off after darshans. He wanted to see that his wife doesn't get a chance to speak to Swami and tell whatever was happening in the house. It so happened they reached late and she said, we have to spend the night here. So the husband consented and they spent the night in Puttaparthi. Next morning, they were there for darshans. He was sitting in the men's line and he got the first line. He was sitting there and thoughts were coming in his mind. See, Swami, he asked people what happened. They says, see, Swami will come out. Sometimes he comes towards the gent side. Sometimes he goes towards the mother's side and then he comes here. So immediately he pricked his, he caught on to the words that sometimes he moves towards the mother's side. So he said, Baba Re, now I know what's going to happen. If he is God and people call him God, let him prove that he is God. He should not go first towards the mother side. He should come towards the gent side and he should come and stand in front of me. So Swami, the door opened and Swami came out. This man was thinking, Abhi Swami, agar wahan jayenge, I will not consider him to be God because my wife will tell him everything. So he looked. Swami came to the portico and he started moving towards the gents. Swami came slowly, slowly, and he stood in front of this gentleman and he looked at him and smiled. And the gentleman with folded hands, automatically his hands were folded. He looked towards Swami. Swami smiled, raised his hands, and Swami said, cheers, cheers, cheers. And that man is all history, I would say. He became a staunch devotee of Swami. If this is not omnipresence, if this is not omniscience, if this is not omnipotence, then what it is? Swami is still with us. He is with us. He's guiding us. It is just that we have to recognize and realize that fact. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Sanjeev. I think, honestly, I lost track of time. I didn't realize till you said time is up. Otherwise, it was a great flow of experiences and the entire, as you're narrating year after year, it was as in like a movie show which was going on in front of us. So Heartfelt gratitude to you for taking the time out and sharing these wonderful experiences. I think just to summarize, because some key takeaways for all of us to take back home. Uh, there are very many, important messages which you shared across, but a couple of them I think have stuck my mind, and maybe once we go through the video, we'll have more experiences, more messages to write down about. I think the very first one throughout, I think the theme which was running through the experiences was a voice of conscience. I think it's extremely critical because especially in today's times, when we don't have a physical presence of Bhagwan, the voice of conscience, or as all the divine masters have said, that end of the day, your real guru lies inside you, and that is a voice of conscience. And Bhagwan also has always guided us that look, go within, go within, go within. Inner view is more important than interview, as Swami used to say. So I think the voice of conscience. You were kind of lucky that you had right throughout your life, voice of conscience guiding you. And quite a few of us, we struggled still to understand whether it is voice of conscience or voice of mind. Who is speaking and what is being spoken to us. But that's something that is most important for all of us as a key takeaway. Then the Bhagwan is permanently with us if we are able to develop that voice of conscience. I think second important message, which I could make a mental note of, was whenever we have to take a decision in life, we can't have legs put on two different boats. I think most of us go through a kind of dilemma, when we are faced with a situation that if this is to be done or that is to be done. And we try to throw chits around and say, Swami, you let us know. And then we leave it to Swami because we are not in a position to take any call about what is good for us. We leave it to Swami. And yes, many times Bhagwan guides us, and many times he remains quiet, and all of us get a feel, that, Bhagwan is not answering my prayers. But I think your experience was very, very clear, where he says that your self-confidence, your inner confidence is most important. And you have to, take your own sankalpa and conviction. And that can happen only if you have a strong faith in Bhagwan. So I think the inner meaning of that entire experience is we need to have strong faith within ourselves that Bhagwan resides in us. And what gives us that same corroborating with voice of conscience, what does we feel from the heart, that we should follow implicitly. And that is where Bhagwan also, kind of blesses and says, Tathastu, that go ahead once you've taken that particular call. So these two, I think, are most, you can say messages which I could make a mental note of. There are very many of them. And once the video is released, all of us would be happy to go through, replay the entire show and then see, what more experiences that we can kind of correlate with. But absolutely brilliant session. It was nice going by the memory of how things went about in your life. And I think there are lots of questions which are now flowing for you. I'll take a couple of them to ensure that we are on time. And the one question that comes up is, how do we fight the mind against bad thoughts? How do we focus? Did you have a method which you have followed?
I will just say that Swami had told, never fight your thoughts, never fight your bad thoughts. Just bypass them, ignore them. The thoughts will keep on coming. So, to start afresh, when you're starting young and you're taking the first step towards this, never fight your thoughts. Just chant Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. It'll cool your mind, it'll relax your mind, and it'll connect with your heart. And this voice will guide you. So never fight with your mind. Let the thoughts come, let them go. Don't follow them. My only suggestion, and practice makes it perfect.
Very nice. So I think you're correlating Namasmarana with this, the best ways.
See, Swami, I'll just interrupt here. Swami had said, he had told us that in Satyug, people used to do lot of yagnas and pujas to appease the lords, gods, and get blessed by them. But Swami says this is Kali Yuga. If you just think about God, if you just take his name, take the name of any God you feel. For me, it is Swami. So when I'm working, I think in my mind, I keep on doing Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. That itself will take you across the river, across the sea of man, of your life, and he'll take care of you. So it is just Nam Smarana which will take you across in the Kali Yuga.
Very nice. So Namasmarana is the main way that we can kind of calm down our mind. In fact, a related question, probably you touched upon, but maybe you would like to delve deep on it. And it's a universal question. I mean, all of us face in different study circle, and in Samiti interactions, we have the same question coming up: is how do we differentiate between voice of God and voice of mind? Or is there
See,
any technique? Maybe I can add one more line. Is there any way that we can filter, saying that okay, this is voice of mind, this is voice of God?
uh, okay, to make it easy, suppose you are going to do an activity and that activity is going to trouble someone or is going to hurt someone. The mind will say, do it. You should do it. It has to be done. But I'll tell you, there, if you just relax for a minute, you will feel a sound, a voice from inside. Don't do it. It will hurt him. If you do like this, it will help him. See, there is no there's no thumb rule or any fast rule that if you behave like this, it is the voice of mind. If you behave like that, is the voice of the inner voice. You have to think for yourself. You have to feel for yourself. You have to initially look at each and every thought you are getting. Is that thought, when put into practice, will hurt someone or will not hurt someone? If it hurts someone, you feel, then don't do it. Even the mind says, do it, do it. Your boss wants to do it, do it. No, you should have the conviction, I'm not going to do it. And the day you get that conviction, no, I am not going to hurt anyone. I cannot even do good to anyone. So at least I don't have the right to do bad to anyone. That day is the day you will realize that the voice is already there, but you have recognized it today. There is no fast, no thumb rule, no right or wrong. You have to take it on yourself. You have to feel it and you have to think it. You have to contemplate on it. I hope.
Really nice. Yeah, it is. It requires a bit of practice for us to calm that mind down and be able to kind of listen to the voice of conscience. So great. I think very, very interesting session again. We are touching almost 8 p.m. So we'll have to close now. But once again, yeah, I think we are seeing the message also on the group, the most touching experience of your life. Okay. Can you share one last question, maybe a minute more? Most touching experience of life you may like to share with all of us.
The most touching experience of my life is when Swami called me for an interview, and in private audience, he showed his hair, pointing towards the hair, and said, "So many came and so many went, but Swami will never leave you." And that is the time I prayed to Swami that even if I go astray, please bring me back on track. I think that experience which I had with Swami, what the message which Swami gave me and the blessing which he gave me will always hold dear to my life. For me, that is the greatest experience of my life.
Very beautiful. I think that's a very powerful message we are ending on. I think all of us who are, this evening we are on the session today. I think there are many opportunities where mind could have got deflected and would have gone and spent Sunday evening somewhere else. But the fact that we are listening to his stories, Bhagwan has handpicked us to be here and listen to his divine stories and leelas of his. And that's why so many came and so many went away. But Bhagwan will always be with us and catching our hand and taking care of us. I think that's a very powerful assurance. This evening, in fact, along with the two messages, that we discussed, is the most powerful message that we carry home. And on this beautiful note, would like to thank and heartfelt gratitude to you again, Brother Sanjeev, for taking the time out and sharing your life experiences with all of us.
I
And
should thank you for giving me an opportunity to relive and walk down the memory lane and relive the moments with Swami in physical and in astral form.
all Bhagwan's grace, all Bhagwan's grace. So heartfelt gratitude to Bhagwan as well. In fact, because of him, we are together here and, listening to his leelas. So let's end this session with Samasta Loka and then we'll close. Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti शांति ही। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
Jai
जय। साई राम।